Hi everyone, and for those of you who don't know me, my name's Suzanne and I call myself a gardening and cut flower enthusiast, and I have a cutting patch and a cottage garden in Devon in the UK. And my videos on my channel are just videos, tours of my garden, floral projects that I'm doing, and all the things I'm growing and how I grow them. So enjoy this week's video. Hi everyone, I'm in the greenhouse this morning, and we're going to take some of the trays of seedlings outside for a few hours today. They went out yesterday. The weather's lovely and it's just a great time to start hardening some things off. And while I'm doing that, I can sort of show you what things I've been growing to put in the cutting garden this year. So I'll take you outside to where I'm putting the plants. And then we can have a look and see what we've got. I don't like to put my plants out into really direct sunshine when I'm hardening them off, because it can be a bit of a shock. And my greenhouse isn't in direct sunshine until much later in the day, which is quite handy because lots of people have to use sort of a shade, like almost a bit of emulsion, or put shade nets up on their greenhouses to make them a bit cooler. But mine is behind a hedge here, and the sun in the morning comes from this direction, and then the sun has to go around my house, around the neighbour's house, before it gets to be facing on the greenhouse in the afternoon. So it's quite handy. So that's why I don't have to paint it or put any shade nets. So my dad has the idea that if he lets it go all green and algae, then that's like the same thing, but he did actually take my advice the other day and wash it, so that was good. So now I've got 2 tables here, and we'll carry some trays out, pop them on the tables to harden them off, and then I can tell you what they are. Okay, so this is some of the snapdragons, not all of them. I know there's a rogue stock in there. I'm not really sure how he ended up in there, but he did. But we've got a mixture here. So this is the canary bird and a stock. And I have pinched some of those now. So he's been pinched. I haven't pinched him yet. I don't know why. I think I just have pinched some, not others. These ones here are Costa apricot, and then I've got a few, these are apple blossoms, these ones, that's quite a nice apple blossom there. So they're hardening off. As I say, some of them still need pinching again, so we'll pop that one back there and we'll get another tray. Okay, so I've got a tray of phlox here, an annual phlox, and this one is the cherry caramel. And I've been having a few thoughts about this. I know people have to pinch them out a lot to get longer stems, but I've also heard they can be a bit wonky and need an awful lot of staking. So I'm sort of thinking of putting these in one of the tunnels, but I've not confirmed that with myself yet. It's still in my mind. And I have pinched some of these, and I don't know if I've pinched them too early. I think perhaps I should have let them get a bit taller, which is why I've only pinched some of them. Just because the fact people said they can get really straggly and a bit unruly, I thought perhaps if I pinched them when they were quite squat, that would help. So anyway, that's the phlox. This is my larkspur, and this is a variety, I didn't write on the label, but I think it's Little Blue Boy. We've got various stages of development because I was sowing them, in successions, and I do a few here and there. So we've got that little one versus that big one, and they were obviously, planted at different times. Try and squeeze them back in there. This is a tray of Beplurum here, so that's coming along nicely. And then this one here is, I only had a few seeds left. This is the phlox and this is the creme brulee. And then these are my Brighton Rock snapdragons. For some reason, this one hasn't done very well. I don't know why, but I don't think that's going to make it. I've got Cerinthy here and Honeywort. I usually direct sow it all, so I'm not sure why I started some in pots. But anyway, I will direct sow some as well. So that's that one. These were my last succession of sweet peas. So they haven't been put into individual pots yet. And then this is a scabious, and this is just called the tall double. Last year they were all white, so I'll be really interested to see what happens with that. I've got Phacelia here, and oh yeah, some little Mexican daisies, just for some pots, not for cutting, they're only little. I've got cornflowers here, and I've got a few other, few little nigellas and some more Cerinthy in here. And the cornflowers I've got this year are all like blues and purples. I've got calendula here. I think these ones are coffee cream. And there's a few snapdragons who are monarch, and they were some old seed I had left over. Okay, so here we've got my, I'm running out of room on the table now. These are my scabious. These ones are summer fruits. I'll try and move you so you can see. I'm nearly out of the table. All you can see now is the Cerinthy on the camera. There we are. So they're looking quite nice. The rabbit or vole or whatever it was ate my salmon coloured ones, but a couple of them don't look too bad. Put you up now because I ran out of room. You were on the table, you've had to move, and then I've got some stocks there. So that's all stuff that's on the table hardening off. It's lovely to see it that. Now it's on the table because I don't trust my cold frame, and I'll talk a bit more about my cold frame in just a minute. But I'll just take you, because there's still, it's like my greenhouse is like a TARDIS. There's still a lot of stuff in the greenhouse for me to show you. So you can see, yeah, obviously there's empty space because we've just taken it outside, but usually at night it's been absolutely packed. So these are some of my Ami that I had to re-sow. I would have re-sown it anyway, but that was Ami Majus. Then this is Didiscus back here. So this is a tray of Didiscus, and this is Didiscus here and here. We'll just take these covers off, I think, today. Oh, this is the dahlia that we have done for cuttings, and it's getting there. So was that Yellow Jill, that one, I think. It's just not quite, I just need it a little bit more for cuttings. That's some Iceland poppies there. And then I'm just going to take these covers off during the day. We've got, this is pennycress. I'm not that chuffed with the germination there, but it was one of the only things I've tried to do in the greenhouse. And I've also tried the Oric in the greenhouse. I'm quite chuffed over here because although the hot biscuits, that's amaranth, weren't my seeds, the Red Army were seeds I collected myself, and I'm glad I did because this isn't an easy one to find online. So I need to make sure that I save seed again of the Red Army because it's my favourite red amaranthus. So I know there's not great germination, but I'm still chuffed I've got some. I don't know that we should talk about that. That looks like a bit of a disaster. This is Salvia Viride Blue Denim. I've gone for the blue because in the mixed I don't get on very well with the white. I just find it always looks really dirty and brown. This is Status. Unfortunately, all the labels facing the wrong way. That's blue. That is just mixed colours, and that is apricot. Some more stocks back there that really should be pricked out. I think they're all singles though, so I wasn't too worried about them. What we got in here? This is just normal basil, and then this is cinnamon basil. Oh, you could really do going outside. If I can find room for you. Yeah, you could really do being hard enough. Look at those, aren't they beautiful? Look at the roots in there. Lovely. I'll try and find some space to put those outside a minute. I've not grown these before. I've grown mallope before, which is very similar, but these are Lavataria. Do you know what? I think I'm going to prefer these, and if I do, I won't grow the mallope again. I haven't got any mallope in here because I tend to find it's better direct sown. These are some cosmos, and then there's one orleia there and loads of dill, so I doubt we'll have any orleia. And then look at the difference in germination here of my straw flower colours. So we've got two of, who are these? Two peach, then brilliant germination on this one, and they're mixed, and what's the betting they're probably all the same colour. No germination at all on salmon, and then I've got like two again on purple. So it'd be really interesting to see with this mixed what colour that is going to be. And then so we've seen everything on that side, and then over here we've got more scabious. They're just some cuttings. These are perennial scabious, which is why they're a bit slower, and their leaves are different. That's Perfection Blue, that's a dahlia, Cerinthium there. Who are you? Oh, Dianthus White. These are more Ami that really need, well, they're probably alright for a bit longer because they've got a really deep pot. A couple of Cosmos, and then, Bells of Ireland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, I've just got just enough for a bed. I've had a bit of a panic. I usually get really, really good germination with Bells of Ireland, and then I read the packet and it said extra seeds have been added to this packet because of lower than usual germination rate. So that explains why that's been a bit tougher. And just a few odd bits and pieces back here. Lady's mantle here, recovering from being nibbled, and a few more snaps. This must be the rust resistant. Yeah, they need to go out really, but a bit lacking in room. And then we've got some cornflowers back here, some bitty ones and some much healthier, bigger ones. Have I got anything dying down here? Got more stocks. More Dianthus. There's another scabious. More Dianthus that should have been potted on. These are my poor salmon scabious, which got nibbled. But I think it may come back because it's still got some leaf. And you can see this one's, they're trying to come back to life. Nigella, that should really be outside, but again, I need another table really. I might try and find another table in a minute. And that's the greenhouse. My mint's all coming back to life. I tried to give it a bit of a tidy yesterday. So this one is apple mint. I only wish we had smell-o-vision. More apple mint there. I started that one from seed. It was really easy, so I recommend that. I had to kick my chrysanthemums outside because they had green fly, and I just didn't want it spreading to all my seedlings. And I'd rather sacrifice a few chrysanthemums than sacrifice all the plants I was just showing you. So this is the spare mint here, starting to come to life. And then the pineapple mint here, weirdly all around the edges. Isn't that a bit peculiar? I don't know, I'm sure it will do a bit better. And then chocolate mint in here. And I've got my mint in containers just because I don't want it to get out of control. We're in the shed as well now. My greenhouse is so full that I'm having to use my shed a little bit as well. So I'll flip you around and show you what's going on in here. Okay, so in here we have got dahlias being woken up. Some of them are more awake than others. I think it's the yellow Jill who are a bit more lively. Who else has got any shoots? There's a wine-eyed Jill there, just with the eyes showing. A wine-eyed Jill with a little shoot there. A few of them had a few shoots in the bag, so these are just quite leggy shoots. But there's, you know, there is life in there. It's not as warm in here as in the greenhouse, but I'm still concerned in my unheated greenhouse there could be frosts, whereas in here it shouldn't, the temperature shouldn't get that cold. So this is a poor young smoke bush that rabbits have eaten, and I think it's probably dead. I don't know why I put it in a pot, but they've nibbled the bark all the way along it, all the way up. So I think that's a goner. These are all perennials that I'm growing on because I've always failed with delphiniums because I always plant them out and the slugs always eat them, and I think I just plant them out too soon because, you see, in the past I would have gone, look at that delphinium, isn't that fantastic, let's harden that off and plant that out, and it gets eaten. Now I'm going to wait until, I mean, it's still got roots coming out the bottom, but I'm going to wait until that is way more established than that, because I'd like to, for the first time in my life, crack delphiniums. And this is just more, I've got some in the garden outside, just more Nepeta. These, I can't see them. These, I wouldn't be able to grow these in my cutting garden, I don't think, because they don't like it being wet. But I thought these looked like really nice cut flowers. So I actually bought these plugs. Catanash. Is it Cupid or Cupid Dart, something like that. So I bought those ones. They're more of my apricot foxgloves. And then I bought these heathers, not for my cottage garden and not for my cutting garden. These actually for some containers. So they're not really, they could do with having something done to them. You can see they've just been dumped. And then I've got some lavender cuttings here. And this, I've always grown the annual gypsophilia and I've always hated it. So these are perennial gyp, and these are a pink one because I always get a bit fed up with the white. So I'm not sure if how well they're going to do either because I've not grown them before. So we'll wait and see. Anyway, so that's what's going on in the shed. Okay, so I'm in the cutting patch now, and there has been a case of mistaken identity in here. In my last video, I accused both a rabbit and a mouse of eating my autumn sown annuals. But following new evidence and having spoken to an ecologist and having seen the culprit again, I can reveal that it's actually voles, which is not wonderful news because my rabbit fencing won't keep them out. They love the fabric paths I've got on the floor because they can basically hide from birds of prey, and they are fine going in the cold frame and eating everything easy peasy. So I had tried to wire the floor, but I've thought about it and I think I haven't done a very good job, and I just think if you're going to do a job properly, you know, because look, they're just going to crawl up the back there. So I'm still a bit nervous to put anything in the cold frame. So the cold frame at this time is empty. I've got, I don't know if I've shown you this before, it's just starting to come into new growth. This smells like Coca-Cola. Oh, it's delicious. Really, really love that. And then I can see I've got some lady's mantle coming up there, which will be nice. These are some poor pink toad flax that I moved. Hope they'll be okay. And I think we'll walk this way. I'll try and keep the sun so you don't have my shadow. So we've got dianthus here, some sweet rocket. I've got some cow parsley at the back there, but something's been eating that. So I don't know if that's the vole, the cow parsley. And it's funny, isn't it? Because if I walk on the other side of this hedge to the road verge there, nothing eats the cow parsley. But if I've got cow parsley that I've grown, oh yeah, it's delicious. So sweet rocket, lots of foxgloves along here. The majority of these are just the wild pink, but I get confused when I find seedlings in the garden what they are, and I put them in here, so there might be some other variations. I've had a go at trying to dig up some of the sting nettles in this area, but I'm not going to worry too much, because when we start mowing in here we'll be able to mow over them. Now look, I don't mind sting nettles on certain areas of my property. They're brilliant for wildlife. I totally get that. But I don't like getting stung when I'm working in here. So I'd rather they were on the other sides of the fences. I mean, they can go anywhere in the paddock that they like there, just not in here. So the tunnel has been attacked by the voles. Excuse my shadow again. I'll turn around, which is a bit annoying. So we've got ranunculus and anemones in here, and there are now lots of gaps where they've been being dug up, which is a bit frustrating, especially these ones down here. I'm really annoyed. I had a nice area of anemone the bride here, and in fact, look, this has happened either overnight or since I've opened the tunnel, but look, oh, this is all just not even attached to the plant anymore. It just breaks your heart, doesn't it? You just work so hard and then it's like everything's against you. I'm trying to stay upbeat, but this should have been a full tunnel. There shouldn't be gaps in here. This should be absolutely full of anemones and ranunculus, but you know, I know it might come back because it's got roots, but it could have done without being chewed. And there's not really any way I can keep them out of here. Apparently voles really like raised beds, so this is probably perfect for them. So that's a bit frustrating. I have gone along and I've actually got all the shade net up now. Now, annoyingly, I've had to do this twice because after I showed you the video last week, we had a really stormy weekend and the whole lot blew down and I've had to put it up again. So I've actually gone along and I don't know if this is better or worse. I've used wire instead of, last time it was all done with cable ties. Sorry, my shadow again. I'll look this way. Yeah, so I just used really flexible garden wire, and last time it was all cable ties, and we'll see if that works any better. But the best bit for me is, you know, I told you I had some windbreak left. I had like exactly the right amount, and I didn't do that. There was no thought or consideration in that. That was just a happy accident. That's the only bit I had left. Was that little bit on the end there. So I'm really, really chuffed about that. Let's go along here and see what else I've done. So I've done a bit of tidying up, but I've put my willow in along here. So these are just some young willows I had that I'd had in pots. So I put those along. So there they are. So they won't provide a windbreak over the winter, but hopefully they'll provide a bit of a windbreak in the summer. And I think I'm going to direct sow in this bed fairly imminently, because when I walk around the rest of the garden, I can see things are germinating out here. And I don't just mean weeds, I mean self-seeded things that I've had before. So these beds are nearly ready now. These are staked. I've got 2 that are not staked, so I need 20 stakes for these 2 end ones. So I need to go online and think about getting some stakes. What else do I need to do? Oh yeah, I want to cut some more wire. I'm just gonna try this as an idea. Okay, so this is just stock fence, and I'm just gonna make like a stock fence tunnel. So it's all self-supporting, and the peonies can grow up through there. The only thing I wonder if it'll be too high, because stuff is usually better. About 30 centimetres is a good height for your lowest level, and this is going to be a bit higher. I suppose I could make them smaller, so I don't know if that will work. And the plan was to have peonies in this whole bed, but this is so wet down here, I just don't think peonies will survive in there. So I mean, I wasn't going to do it right away anyway, but we'll have to think about that. I got my sweet pea frame up, so that's fantastic. And look, we've even got some sweet peas out. So these are the autumn sown sweet peas. I've been hardening them off in my Enviromesh low tunnel. So these are basically red, whites and blues because they're royal family mixed. With the King's coronation this year, I just thought, I mean, it's my least favourite thing is red, white and blue, but red, white and blue sweet peas will be, these are autumn sown, so hopefully I should have some in time, and that was my thinking, but really I prefer sort of pastels. But anyway, hopefully we've got a good mix there. And this Enviromesh stuff, do you know what, I really recommend this. This has been brilliant for hardening stuff off. There's another load of the next succession of sweet peas in there, and I put these stocks out, but they really need staking and possibly planting closer together. Oh, and I've got a tray of Phacelia. I don't know if you can see it. Got a tray of Phacelia there hardening off as well. But this has been really good for hardening off. This is where it will be all stocks eventually, and then I'm not sure if the zinnias are going to go in that tunnel or that tunnel. I haven't quite got that far yet. Okay, where else have I got? I'm trying to work out which way to walk so that you've not got my shadow. So yarrow, achillea here, feverfew, euphorbia, lots of little euphorbias. The Aquilegia bed, last time I showed it to you, you could barely see the Aquilegia, but you can see it now. Lamb's ear, and Aegeums there. This is not really so much for cutting, but for me for the kitchen. So that's my thyme. I can never say artisma, or I don't know, but this Powys Castle, I know which variety it is, I just can't remember its name. I'll try and write it up on the screen if I remember. I'm not promising. Oh, we've got a little sneaky weed in there. Some more euphorbia. This, I've noticed the toe flax hasn't really done very well, and I think a lot of it is actually pretty dead. But I have got a tray of seedlings in the greenhouse, so we'll have to put those in there. We've got Lismachia coming up here, so gooseneck, like loose strife. These ones are white, and I'm a bit annoyed because I had planted myself the really burgundy purple one, which I'd grown from seed, and only the white seems to be coming up, and they were good strong plants, so a little bit frustrating, but never mind. There's gladioli in here, and I'm tempted to just take, can you just see the gladioli? Oh, where's he gone? I'm never very good at getting the camera. Oh, there. But anyway, there's a few poking up. I'm tempted to dig them out because I wouldn't mind. I've got another perennial I'd like to put in there. Oregano and there's some celandine in here. And actually, there's a creeping buttercup in there, which will need to come out. But here's the difference in leaves. I'll try and show you. So the celandine, let's get a leaf out. The celandine has these lovely heart-shaped leaves, and the flower is much smaller. And then the creeping buttercup, oh, it's not in flower yet, but the creeping buttercup is that one. So that's one we want to get rid of. And now, everyone with, this is Rebecca Sahara. And I put it in my perennial beds because I just thought, oh, it's a Rebecca, so it's a perennial. And I've since found out that the Sahara is supposed to be an annual. But I've got a few. That was one. This one here has got some leaves on it. This one here has got some leaves on it. And there's some there. So it'll be really interesting to see how they do. I forgot to show you in the greenhouse actually. I have got a tray of, look at these weeds. I have got a tray of Rebecca Sahara in the greenhouse. I don't know why I didn't show it to you. They're only little diddy, but they're quite slow. Look, I'm getting distracted again. We'll come back to weeding later. And then here we've got bronze fennel. There's the bronze fennel. My sage, it's quite old. I'm not sure it's going to make it. I should probably cut it back, but actually, do you know what? I was thinking that looked quite good. You could use that in some recipes. Loads of oregano. I just love oregano. It's absolutely fantastic. And then this is Korean mint, which isn't as hardy as the other mints I was showing you, so that's why it's in the bed. Sometimes it doesn't make the winter, but you can just see some shoots there. I'm not sure how well this will have done. If it hasn't made it, you just see there are leaves, but they don't look great. If it hasn't made it, I don't think I'll replace that. I think I'll put something else in here. Oh, distracted by weeds again. Tulips. I'm not actually very happy with my tulips this year. I've always done them in a raised bed before, so I think I've made a mistake. So these are showpiece, and the stems, I know if I pull the bulbs out they will have a slightly longer stem, but for me that's quite disappointing. I'm hoping the others are going to be better. And also really patchy. I got my bulbs from a different supplier this year, and I've planted them in the ground rather than the raised bed, and I just think that's terrible. I'm trying to think how many there should be here. There should be 200 tulips here. There's nowhere near. I did 400 tulips last year, and that was too many, so I thought I'll just do 200, but now I'm wishing I had have done 400. Well, what I'm going to do is next year I'm going to do them in a raised bed again, and I'm going to go back to the supplier I used before, because certainly cannot be lack of moisture out here because this is soaking out here. But anyway, enough whinging, because I've got some grasses here. This is the perennial breezer. Is that Maximus, the perennial one? And there's a Korean feathergrass there, but I don't know if that's dead or not. This is, I believe, a plant that I lost. I think this is my Veronica here. I used to have it in the garden, and it always had powdery mildew, and it did really bad. So I dug it up, put it somewhere, and then I lost it for a few months. I think that's what this is. And I've taken a real gamble moving it out here because I have bindweed in my cottage garden. So I'm really hoping I haven't brought bindweed out here with me. But that's what I think that is. Then I've got gap here. This is for perennials that I've got in my shed. Sedum. Some of the phlox don't look great. In fact, this should all be phlox along here, but I can't see any. I can see a couple there, but nowhere near as many there were. And then Astrantia are all in here. And then Achillea the Pearl. That's a bit of Phacelia, Achillea, more feverfoo. Oh, you're going to get my shadow again if I do that. Let's go around the other side. This is gladiolus, and there's definitely space in here for the rest of those gladiolus, because I know I've only got to about there. So I've got the whole back end bit of this, whole back end of this bit here where I could put more gladiolus. So I'm tempted to do that. And these are iris. This is my Casmasia coming up. You can just see them coming up through. There we are. I'm looking forward to seeing those. And this is alliums here. This is my, these are red Devon. There we are. And then these are just coming now. They're just coming into bud there. I think they're Great Leap. I'm not bothering with wallflowers again. I mean, they've been growing on since last autumn. Look at the size of them. You know, they're really rubbish. Canterbury bells are good size, but I just haven't got very many of them. Foxgloves are a real mix of sizes. Dianthus, I think some are alive and some are dead. I'm going with the ones with the new growth on top. Must be alive. Pretty sure that one is dead. So I'm not sure about if they haven't got new growth. So like that one, I think that one's pretty dead, but that's got new growth. A few tulips which must have got missed last year, but this is all dianthus in here. And we've got sort of, these are ones from where they're coming from the root, whereas these are ones I took as cuttings, so that's why they're one stem. Whereas you see these ones that I grew from seed. Here's another good example. So these ones I grew from seed have got, lots more stems. And then Sweet Rocket recovering from being nibbled. So like that's one that had been nibbled, but he's coming back. So this is what I mean about stuff starting to germinate outside. So it must be warm enough in the soil. So there's an auroch. That is, oh, my hand's in the way, a little buplurum. More auroch, where's here. So it must be warm enough. So I'm really tempted to actually sow direct now. Nigella, not sure what's happened to this one on the end. Oh dear, that's a bit of a shame. Oh look, see there's more auroch there. I needn't have bothered starting any in trays. There's plenty out here. And look, this is what I mean about some weeds are not weeds. Look at that. I know I can't cut it, but it's not doing any harm, is it? Isn't that pretty? The Greek cress, I am definitely going to autumn sow my Greek cress from now on, because when I've spring sown it, I never get stems like this. When I want to put that in a bouquet, look at that. That is absolutely fantastic. They have lovely white flowers. They're not quite there yet, but then the seed pods are great. So I'm quite pleased I've got all that. I'm going to sow a whole load of that along with the sweet peas. The dahlia bed is empty because it's dahlia bed. And I know I could have probably put tulips in here first, but tulips are really expensive to buy, so I would never buy enough tulips to fill this bed, but I might look into something else next year. Roses are looking nice. I'm waiting for the green fly. I've had green fly in the tunnel already, so the green fly is definitely around. These are the ones that are doing the best. These are Champagne Moment. Look at that. Oh look, is that green fly? Haha, what did I just say? There they are. There are the green fly. I'm just gonna squish them. Ugh, gross, gross, gross. Oh, and look. Look at these ones here. Look how many green fly we've got hiding in there. Let's just give them a little bit of a squish as well. I don't use any sprays or pesticides or anything. But eventually the ladybird larvae and the ladybirds, ugh, that's pretty gross, will come out and start helping me with this situation. But you just know, don't you, as soon as the weather warms up, that you're just going to have green fly. There they are. I know lots of people use, you know, like soapy water and stuff like that, but I try and just leave them for the birds to eat. The birds and the other predatory insects will find them eventually. And in the meantime, I'm just giving them a pureed version. They can still eat them. They're not over every single rose, but they do seem to like my nice healthy rose. Ugh, gross. Anyway, I'm being distracted again now. This video will be about 3 hours long. Right, let's move on. So these are little bare root roses that I only planted in the autumn. So, but you can see they must have just got their feet down because they've just got new growth coming at the bottom here. I won't prune these, even though they look a bit untidy. I'm just going to leave them and they'll get pruned. Any dead bits will get pruned off in the autumn now, because I just want them to get their roots down and just get established. These two different varieties, hence the leaves being different colours. I cannot remember because one of them was a substitute. One's Cream Abundance, and I can't remember what the other one is. Shadow again. And then this is just an empty bed. And then along here is just a few, I've got my blueberry bush there. There's some gladiolite in there somewhere. Valerian. And then raspberries and strawberries. And I've been fighting nettles in here as well. It's all raspberries and strawberries. So let's just pan around to give you an idea of what it looks like now the fence is finished. Oh, I've got that pile of stuff to move because I'm pretty sure the voles live in there. But I'm waiting to finish my compost heaps. My compost heap's going to go where that pallet is. But then the voles probably just live in the compost heap, so I'm not sure that'll work. But here we are, just giving you an idea of what it looks like now. The fence is up. I'm chuffed about that. So let's just hope everything doesn't get eaten by voles or spoiled by greenfly. Thanks very much for watching the tour of my gardens today, everyone. And we've got Easter weekend coming up, so loads of gardening time. So that's good news for all of us. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.